So by now you've noticed that I have two last names. By far, the most common question that I get is, what's the story behind your last name? Most people assume that it's a combination of my mom's last name and my dad's last name. Well, it's actually much more complicated than that, but it's a rather unique story, and so I put this video together to help tell it. So here it is, the story behind the last name Dunki-Jacobs. We need to go back 5 generations to my great-great-great-grandfather. His name was Johannes Jacobs. He was born in 1816 in the Netherlands. At the age of 19, he joined the Merchant Navy and sailed to Indonesia, which at the time was known as the Dutch East Indies. Once in Indonesia, Johannes defected from the Dutch Navy. He stayed in Indonesia and eventually met his bride, Maria Sefier. Johannes and Maria had a son, also named Johannes. You'll see there are a lot of Johanneses. At the age of 4, Johannes Jr. became an orphan. Now the details of why he became an orphan are unclear. I like to think that Johannes Sr. and Maria took to a life of piracy and wished to shield their son from the family vocation. Nevertheless, young Johannes was an orphan. Now a member of the orphanage board was named Johannes Dunki. He was married to a woman named Susanna, and they had no children. Johannes and Susanna Dunki adopted young Johannes Jacobs and raised him as their own. In 1865, at the age of 20, shortly after both Johannes and Susanna Dunki had died, young Johannes decided to add the Dunki name to his own last name, showing gratitude to the couple who had raised him and thereby creating the last name Dunki-Jacobs. Shortly after changing his name, Johannes Dunki-Jacobs met and married Antoinette Kluver. They had 9 children, and the family name started to grow. The 8th of those children was my great-grandfather, Louis Albert Dunki-Jacobs. Louis then married and had 6 children, 5 of which were boys, including my grandfather, also named Johannes, but he went by John. The Dunki-Jacobs, or as we often shorten it, the DJs, stayed in Indonesia until shortly after World War II, when Indonesia became recognized as a sovereign nation in 1949. Some of the DJs went back to the Netherlands, while others immigrated to the United States. Today we are few, and sprinkled throughout the United States and Netherlands. But if you ever meet somebody with the last name Dunki-Jacobs, I can assure you they are related to me. Growing up, I always thought that having 2 last names was somewhat of a curse. In school, I couldn't get away with anything. My name stuck out like a sore thumb. As I've gotten older, I've really learned to embrace it. It's unusual, but it is also memorable. It has really pushed me, knowing that I share a unique name with a very small group of people whom we cannot hide our association. This includes my own wife and 4 children, whom I hope to make proud. So there you have it. Now you know the full story behind the last name Dunki-Jacobs. Thanks for asking.